They tell you love is the greatest force in the universe, that without love, life is empty. But what if I told you that love alone is not enough? That love, without guidance, without wisdom, can lead you into illusions, into heartbreak, into a longing that never finds fulfillment. Too many souls wander through life, yearning for a companion, aching for connection, believing that marriage will complete them. Yet they forget. The one who created love itself holds the blueprint for its fulfillment. If you seek marriage, if your heart desires to find the one meant for you, then know this: Allah has already written your story. The only question is, will you walk the path He has set for you? Some people spend years chasing relationships, hoping, praying, wondering why nothing seems to work. But the truth is, marriage is not just about love. It is a sacred contract, a divine responsibility. It is half of your faith. The Prophet Muhammad said, "When a man marries, he has fulfilled half of his religion. So let him fear Allah regarding the remaining half. Half of your deen. Let that sink in. This isn't about desperation. This isn't about luck. This is about divine alignment. You want to get married in 2025? You want to find the spouse written for you? Then you must first understand the laws that govern this blessing. Because there are rules, there are steps, and there are secrets hidden within the wisdom of Islam. Secrets that can open doors you never even knew existed. It all begins with the most powerful weapon you have, the one thing that can change destinies, that can reshape your life in ways you never imagined. Dua. Not just any dua, but a dua that shakes the heavens, a dua that penetrates the deepest realms of the unseen. When was the last time you truly asked Allah? Not in passing, not as an afterthought, but with a heart trembling in need. Have you stood in the last third of the night, whispering to the one who never sleeps? Have you raised your hands with absolute certainty, believing beyond doubt that He will respond? Allah says in the Quran, "Call upon me, I will respond to you." Surah Ghafir 40:60. Yet how many of us truly call upon Him? How many of us place our faith in people, in circumstances, in our own desires, before turning to the one who controls all of it? Look at the story of Musa alayhi salam, a man who had nothing, no wealth, no status, no home. He was fleeing for his life, a stranger in a foreign land. And yet, what did he do? He turned to Allah. "My Lord, indeed, I am in need of whatever good you would send down to me." Surah Al-Qasas 28:24. And within moments, his life changed. He was given shelter, honor, and a spouse. Understand this: dua is not just about asking. It is about surrender. It is about placing your entire being into the hands of the one who knows you better than you know yourself. It is about trusting that He sees what you cannot, that He is preparing something greater than you ever imagined. But here's where most people go wrong. They make dua, but they do not believe. They pray, but they do not act. They ask, but they do not prepare. If you truly want marriage, then your dua must be followed by a heart that is ready, ready to receive, ready to change, ready to embrace the path that Allah has written for you. How many times have we seen people complain, Why hasn't Allah given me what I asked for? But have they looked within? Have they questioned whether they are truly prepared for the blessing they seek? If you seek a righteous spouse, are you striving to be righteous yourself? If you want love, have you purified your heart from the diseases that poison love? Pride, selfishness, impatience. If you desire someone who prays, who fears Allah, who is sincere, then are you embodying those qualities yourself? Allah is not unjust. He will not withhold from you what is meant for you, but He will not grant you what you are unprepared to carry. There is a wisdom in waiting. There is a reason why some du'as take time. Allah is not denying you. He is refining you. He is shaping you into the person who will not just receive a spouse, but who will thrive in marriage. So ask yourself, are you truly ready for what you are asking? Because when Allah answers, when He opens the door, when He brings that person into your life, there will be no turning back. Tonight, before you sleep, do something different. Stand before your Lord. Let your heart speak. Ask not just for a spouse, but for the wisdom to recognize them when they come, for the patience to wait for what is best, for the strength to walk away from what is not meant for you. Because the moment you truly trust Allah, the moment you surrender your desires to Him, everything will change. There's a mistake many people make, a silent killer of opportunities, a thief that robs them of the very thing they desire most. It's not that they don't pray. It's not that they don't hope. It's that deep down they are desperate, and desperation repels. How many times have you seen it? Someone searching, grasping, clinging to the idea of marriage so tightly that it slips right through their fingers. They rush, they force, they settle for less than what Allah has planned for them, because they cannot bear the thought of waiting. They cannot handle the silence, the uncertainty. But here's what they don't realize. Desperation is a sign of distrust. It is a whisper that says, what if Allah doesn't come through? It is a shadow of fear that convinces them they must take control, that they must chase, that they must bend themselves into shapes that were never meant for them, all for the sake of being chosen. But tell me, is that what you want? Do you want to be someone's desperate choice, or do you want to be someone's answered dua? The person who understands their worth does not beg for love. They do not diminish themselves, hoping to be seen. They do not settle for someone who only half chooses them. Look at the example of Khadija radiyallahu anha, a woman of stature, of grace, of intelligence. Did she chase? Did she plead for marriage? No, she knew her value. She knew that the right man, one worthy of her, would recognize it without her having to shrink herself. And who did she marry? Not just any man, but the man, the best of creation, the Prophet Muhammad. So why do we lower ourselves? Why do we act as though marriage is a prize we must desperately grasp at before time runs out? Allah does not place urgency on things that are written for you. What is meant for you will not pass you. What is decreed for you will not go to another. The problem is, many people do not act like they believe this. You've seen it before. The person who says, I trust Allah, but then jumps into a relationship that doesn't align with their values. The person who claims Allah's timing is best, but spends every waking moment trying to make something happen on their own. And what happens? They burn out. They exhaust themselves emotionally. They enter and exit relationships that leave them drained, disheartened, doubting whether love will ever come for them at all. Because here's the truth. Desperation does not attract love. It attracts disappointment. It attracts people who can sense your neediness, who will take advantage of it, who will string you along because they know you will accept the bare minimum. But you are better than that. You are not here to beg for someone's time. You are not here to tolerate mixed signals, to accept half love, to be an option instead of a priority. You are here to walk in dignity, to carry yourself with the quiet confidence of someone who knows Allah is the best of planners. Marriage is not a race. It is not something you force. It is a divine gift, given at the perfect time, to the one who is ready for it. And readiness does not look like desperation. Readiness looks like self-contentment. It looks like inner peace. It looks like knowing that even if marriage does not come tomorrow, you are still whole today. Ask yourself this: if you knew, with absolute certainty, that your spouse was already written, already chosen, already on their way to you, would you still feel anxious? Would you still chase? Would you still waste your time on people who don't truly see you? Or would you breathe? Would you relax into the certainty that Allah does not forget His servants? Let go of the urgency. Let go of the fear. Stop seeing marriage as a finishing line you must cross before it's too late. There is no too late with Allah. There is only perfect timing. And when the time is right, when your heart is settled, when you have let go of the need to control everything, that is when it will come. That is when your story will unfold in a way more beautiful than you ever imagined. So step back, stop chasing, and trust. Because the moment you do, everything will change. Some people believe that marriage is just about finding the right person, that if they search hard enough, if they make enough du'as, if they wait long enough, the perfect spouse will appear, and everything will magically fall into place. But that's not how it works. Marriage is not just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right person. Too many people dream of a righteous spouse while ignoring their own flaws. They say they want someone patient, but are they patient themselves? They say they want someone who prays at night, who fears Allah, who has good character. But have they looked in the mirror? Because here's the truth. Allah is just. He pairs people in ways that are fair. If you desire a righteous spouse, you must become righteous. If you want someone strong in faith, you must strengthen your own faith. If you want a partner who is kind, forgiving, disciplined, then ask yourself, am I embodying these qualities? Allah says in the Quran, good women are for good men, and good men are for good women. Surah An-Nur 24:26. So before asking for a spouse, ask yourself, would I marry me? If the answer is no, then you have work to do. This is where most people go wrong. They believe that marriage will fix them, that once they find the right person, all their insecurities, all their emotional wounds, all their unresolved traumas will disappear. But marriage does not heal you. It reveals you. It will expose every weakness, every unresolved pain, every unhealed wound. It will hold a mirror to your soul and force you to face what you have been avoiding for years. If you struggle with anger, it will come out. If you have trust issues, they will surface. If you battle with selfishness, impatience, jealousy, it will all be magnified. Because marriage is not just love and companionship. It is a test of character, a test of patience, a test of who you really are. And that is why preparation is key. Before you ask Allah for a spouse, ask yourself, am I ready for the responsibility? Because marriage is not just about love. It is about sacrifice. It is about service. It is about putting someone else's needs before your own. Look at the Prophet Muhammad, the way he treated his wives, the way he listened, the way he cared, the way he made them feel valued, respected, cherished. He did not just expect love, he gave love. So the question is, are you prepared to give? Are you ready to be patient when things don't go your way? Are you ready to communicate with kindness, even when you're frustrated? Are you ready to forgive, even when your ego is screaming at you to hold a grudge? Because that is marriage. It is easy to dream of a beautiful love story. But the real question is, are you ready to build one? If you have unhealed wounds from your past, have you worked on them? If you have trust issues, have you sought to resolve them? If you struggle with anger, with discipline, with emotional stability, have you taken the steps to improve? Or are you waiting for marriage to fix it all for you? Allah does not place blessings in unprepared hands. He will not send you a righteous spouse if you are not ready to be a righteous spouse. He will not place someone patient in your life if you are constantly testing their patience. He will not give you someone kind if you are harsh in your words, in your actions, in your heart. This is why so many marriages fail, not because love wasn't there, but because preparation wasn't there. So before you seek love, seek growth. Before you ask for a spouse, ask for self-improvement. Fix your prayers, fix your habits, fix your mindset. Because when you do, when you truly put in the effort to become the best version of yourself, then marriage will not just be something you enter. It will be something you thrive in. And that is what makes all the difference. You can ask, you can prepare, you can pray until your voice cracks and your heart trembles. But if you do not see it, if you do not believe in it with every fiber of your being, then you are the one standing in your own way. Because here's something most people don't understand. What you hold in your heart shapes the reality that unfolds before you. Look around. How many people have convinced themselves that marriage is impossible for them, that they are too late, too flawed, too unworthy? How many have allowed fear to whisper in their ears, maybe I'm not meant to be loved? And so, what happens? They see rejection where there is opportunity. They see delay where there is wisdom. They sabotage before they can even step into the blessing that was written for them, because they never truly believed it could happen. But Allah tells us something different. I am as my servant expects me to be. Hadith Qudsi. Did you hear that? The way you expect from Allah is how He will respond to you. If you expect difficulty, you will find difficulty. If you expect disappointment, you will see disappointment. But if you expect khair, if you expect goodness, if you expect ease, if you expect a love that is written just for you, then that is what will manifest. Your mind is more powerful than you think. This isn't just optimism. This is Iman. When Musa alayhis salam stood before the sea, with an army behind him and nowhere to go, what did the people say? Indeed, we are overtaken. Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:61. They had already accepted defeat. But Musa, his response shook the heavens. No, indeed, my Lord is with me, and he will guide me through. Surah Ash-Shu'ara 26:62. And the sea split. That is the power of certainty. That is the power of expectation. That is what happens when you do not just pray for something, but you see it, you believe in it, you live as if it is already coming towards you. So tell me, what do you see for yourself? Do you see yourself as someone who is meant to be loved? Do you see yourself stepping into a marriage that is filled with peace, with barakah, with a partner who is exactly what you need? Or do you only see obstacles? Because if all you focus on is the fear of being alone, the frustration of waiting, the anxiety of the unknown, then that is what will consume you. Shift your vision. Start picturing it, not just as a vague hope, but as something that is already in motion. Imagine your home, a home filled with warmth, with understanding, with the love of someone who was always meant to be by your side. Imagine the hands that will hold yours in dua, the heart that will remind you of Allah when you forget. And do not just imagine it. Thank Allah for it before it arrives. And when your Lord proclaimed, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase you." Surah Ibrahim 14:7. Gratitude opens doors. It is a silent prayer that says, "I trust you, Ya Allah. I know you are working for me, even when I cannot see it." But here's the mistake many people make. They pray, but they doubt. They ask Allah for a righteous spouse, but deep down they think, maybe it won't happen for me. They make dua, but their heart is heavy with uncertainty. And that uncertainty is what holds them back. What if, instead, you shifted your entire mindset? What if, from this moment on, you knew, not just hoped, not just wished, but knew, that your dua was already answered? That Allah had already written a beautiful love story for you, and that all you had to do was walk towards it with trust? Do you know how much ease that would bring? No more sleepless nights worrying about when it will happen. No more overanalyzing every delay. No more feeling like you need to control every little detail. Because you know, because you trust, because you see it before it arrives. And that is the kind of certainty that Allah responds to. So tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes and shift your vision. See yourself in the life that Allah is preparing for you. Feel the peace. Feel the gratitude. Know that it is already written. And then, walk forward with yaqeen. Because the moment you truly believe in it, the moment you trust in Allah's promise without hesitation, that is when everything begins to fall into place. Some people wait for marriage as if it's a sudden event, something that will just happen when the time is right. They sit, they hope, they pray, and they do nothing else. But here's what they don't realize. Marriage is not a destination. It is a journey, and every journey requires preparation. Look at your own life. Every great milestone, your education, your career, your personal growth, did it just happen, or did you have to work for it? Did you wake up one day and suddenly have knowledge, skills, wisdom? Or did you have to prepare, step by step, until you were ready to receive the opportunities Allah had written for you? Then why do people treat marriage differently? Allah does not place blessings in hands that are unprepared to carry them. If you truly desire marriage, then the question is not when it will happen. The question is, are you ready for it? Because marriage is not just about companionship. It is about responsibility. It is about patience. It is about stepping into a role that will test you in ways you cannot imagine. And if you are not preparing now, then when? Too many people focus only on the external. They make lists of the kind of spouse they want. They dream about the perfect partner. But they never ask, am I ready to be the kind of person they would want to marry? If you want a righteous spouse, are you actively working on your deen? If you want a patient spouse, are you cultivating patience in yourself? If you want someone who is kind, forgiving, selfless, then are you embodying those qualities? Or are you waiting for marriage to fix you? Because marriage does not fix people. It reveals them. If you are impatient now, marriage will test that impatience. If you struggle with trust now, marriage will magnify those insecurities. If you have unresolved trauma, unresolved anger, unresolved emotional wounds, marriage will not heal them. It will expose them. And that is why preparation is everything. Look at the example of the Prophet. He was not just a husband. He was a leader, a man of wisdom, patience, and deep emotional intelligence. He understood his wives. He listened to them. He reassured them in moments of doubt. He comforted them in moments of sadness. Do you think that kind of ability just appears when you get married? No. It comes from years of self-discipline, years of learning how to control your emotions, years of tazkiyah, purification of the soul. If you are serious about marriage, then it is time to stop waiting and start building. Build your relationship with Allah, because if your connection with Him is weak, then no human connection will ever truly satisfy you. Build your emotional intelligence. Learn how to communicate, how to listen, how to handle conflict with grace instead of anger. Build your character. Work on your patience, your trust, your ability to forgive, because marriage will test all of it. And most importantly, build contentment within yourself. Too many people enter marriage expecting their spouse to complete them. But no human being can fill the void that only Allah can fill. If you are not happy within yourself now, marriage will not change that. If you do not love yourself now, marriage will not fix that. Because a successful marriage is not built by two incomplete people searching for fulfillment. It is built by two whole individuals who come together, not out of need, but out of a desire to give. So before you ask for a spouse, ask yourself, what am I bringing to this marriage? Not just in terms of provision, not just in terms of love, but in terms of who you are as a person. Are you prepared to handle disagreements with wisdom instead of ego? Are you prepared to support someone on their worst days, not just their best? Are you prepared to be patient, to be forgiving, to be the kind of spouse that brings baraka into a home instead of hardship? Because that is what marriage truly requires. It is easy to want a beautiful love story. But the question is, are you ready to write one? And if the answer is no, then your preparation starts now. Not tomorrow, not when you find someone. Now. Because when you are ready, when you have built yourself into the person Allah wants you to be, when you have done the inner work, then the doors will open. Not because you chased love, not because you begged for it, but because you became the kind of person who was ready to receive it. There is one thing that sets apart those who find the marriage they seek from those who spend years wondering why it hasn't happened yet. It is not luck. It is not coincidence. It is not even just effort. It is tawakkul, a trust so deep in Allah that it removes every trace of doubt, every whisper of anxiety, every fear of what if? Because at the core of it all, your story was written before you even took your first breath. Your spouse, your future, your journey, all of it has already been decreed. And nothing can take away what Allah has destined for you. But the problem is, many people say they trust Allah, yet they still carry worry in their hearts. They ask for a righteous spouse, but they wonder, what if it never happens? They make dua, but deep down they think, maybe I'm just not meant for love. They prepare themselves, but they look at their age, their circumstances, the delays, and think, maybe I missed my chance. And that doubt, that quiet, lingering doubt, is what holds them back. Because Allah does not just respond to your dua, He responds to your certainty. The Prophet said, "Call upon Allah while being certain of being answered." Tirmidhi. Are you certain? Do you truly believe that Allah has already written your spouse for you? Do you truly believe that every delay, every rejection, every moment of waiting is not a punishment, but a preparation? Do you truly believe that what is meant for you will reach you, even if the entire world tries to stop it? If you truly believe, then let go. Let go of the anxiety. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the desperation that makes you feel like you need to make something happen, instead of allowing Allah to unfold it in the perfect time. Look at Maryam, alayha salam, alone, afraid, in the pains of childbirth, without anyone to help her. And yet, Allah did not just leave her to suffer. He sent her provision. He told her, "Shake the trunk of the palm tree towards you, and fresh, ripe dates will fall upon you." Surah Maryam 19:25. Allah was teaching her a lesson. Do your part, and I will take care of the rest. She did not make the tree grow. She did not create the fruit, but she was told to shake it, to do her part, even if it seemed small. And that is all you need to do. Put in the effort, make the dua, prepare yourself, but then trust, fully, completely, without hesitation. Because tawakkul is not passive. It does not mean sitting idly, waiting for marriage to fall into your lap. It means doing your part, and then walking away from the worry, walking away from the stress, because you know Allah will not fail you. And when the time comes, when the person Allah has written for you arrives, you will look back and realize every moment of waiting was worth it. Every tear, every unanswered question, every delay, it was all leading you here, to something greater than you could have ever imagined. So breathe. Stop worrying about when, about how, about who. Focus on becoming before searching. Focus on trusting before doubting. Because when you fully surrender to the plan of the one who loves you more than anyone ever could, there is no fear left, only certainty, only peace. And when the time is right, your story will unfold in ways more beautiful than you ever dreamed. This journey is not just about finding love. It's about finding yourself first. And when you do, love will find you exactly when it's meant to. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to trust in Allah's perfect timing, then make sure to subscribe, because this is just the beginning. Together, we'll continue to explore the wisdom of Islam, the guidance of our faith, and the journey of the heart. And when your time comes, when your story unfolds, you'll be ready to embrace it. Your future is already written. Now, walk towards it with trust.